Yo, hope you're doing well. The Calvary's not coming. Acting week 23. Braden Griffiths, 6'4". Ontario. Moved to Toronto in September. Oof. Today is a wrestle kind of day where I'm like, should I even go to acting school? Is it even worth it? Because, backtrack. Today is Thursday. I met a guy on Sunday, right? I was at church. And during church, I was praying. I was like, God, please give me some wisdom. Please show me the thing that you need me to hear right now, or the person that you need me to meet. Just kind of help shape me with someone that I can interact with. And we're having a barbecue, and I was sitting with this lady, and then this guy comes and sits next to me. He introduced himself. We talked for about 2 minutes before I say, yeah, I'm going to acting school. He's like, well, I was actually trying to be an actor, writer, director for the last 10 years in Toronto. So then I was like, that's interesting. And I pretty much just asked, I was just like, just shut up and just take in what this guy's saying right now. And we had like almost an hour and a half discussion about it. And I wanted to talk to him more about it, but long story short, the thesis of what he said was the Calvary's not coming, right? And this comes from, if you're in the film space, Mark Duplass, who was in Creep, the morning show. He had a series of indie films that he made with his brother Jay Duplass. He had a keynote speech about just over 10 years ago where he said the Calvary's not coming, pretty much a beginner's guide to independent filmmaking. Take in mind, this is before the streaming boom, also before technology and like YouTube and things became like really, really prevalent. So the relevancy might be different, but we just saw with Backrooms and Obsession, both super low budget horror movies that killed. Mark Duplass was in Backrooms as well, no, go figure. But we saw these movies that, killed, that are killing, that are good movies that people are wanting to watch, and stories that people are wanting to engage with. And essentially what this guy and I were talking about was this thesis of like the Calvary's not coming. And what he said is to narrow your scope of what you're choosing, whether that's acting, writing, or directing. Each year or hundreds of hours or projects that you make, you build up stat points where you get better at something, which makes a lot of sense. And the more time that you spend with something, the better that you get at it. So the more clear that you can be, the better that you are. And I've wrestled with this a lot because I love writing and I love parts of directing, but I've always visualized myself as like someone on camera, someone who's acting out a character. And I think that after our conversation, I had to make that clear of like, I want to be a film and TV actor. If I'm gonna do one thing, that'll be it. So then we talked a bit more about that, and he said that he's done a bunch of different classes and programs and things like that. The most important thing, especially arriving on auditions and getting yourself in rooms, is you need to have your memory be a muscle. So he suggested doing a bunch of different monologues, 1 minute, 3 minute, 5+ minutes, and just having them every single day, sharp as a tack, like just not missing on those pieces of work, because they just sharpen this tool. And I think I was thinking of my memory as like this like finite thing that, you can only do this and this, but then thought about it just now is like, you don't forget all the song lyrics that you know. So why did you forget monologues that you just repeatedly know? Like you remember the melodies, the context, the people that you're creating in your head, the emotions that you're feeling. You remember those things. So why would you forget them? And it was this interesting conversation and realization. And he was like, we were both at church. So faith is, he said he was away from faith for a long time. And during this, and he talked about negatives of the industry and the harshness that exists. And for me, one thing that I've been wrestling with a ton is like, say that I'm married in the next like 10 years. I get offered a part that's like, you have to kiss this person or you have to do this sex scene or whatever, and it's like, that's all modern TV is. It's like, I don't want to do that to my wife. I don't want my kids to watch that. I don't want them to know that, like, I don't want them to see that. I don't think that I'd be proud of that work. I don't think that I'd be, happy with putting that out into the world and then like showing my children that. And I wouldn't want to lay that example out. So it's like, when there's other things that I wouldn't really want to depict, or storylines that I maybe don't want to portray or put out into the world. So then it's like, can I actually be picky and choosy? Or is every opportunity a gift? Because even with like those opportunities that people get, like that's like their break into fame. But at a certain point, what did it cost? What did it cost? And that was like a thought-provoking kind of back and forth that we had about this, whereas like, what's it worth? What is that worth? Like what's even the money or creating the project worth if you're losing that piece of your soul? If you're losing yourself in the process of that. This dog, he wants it's alligator. He wants, let's see, something outside, I don't know. But it's like, as a Christian, or striving to live by Christ's teachings, man, there's just so many parables in the Bible about like trading your soul for money, or like you cannot love money and God at the same time. And it's like, I don't want to be that guy. I really don't want to be that guy, because it's like God has rescued me out of the pits of hell, psychologically, spiritually, and it's like I feel convicted that I can pursue this path only with Him. But it's something that scares me, is like, those years down the line when maybe the pressure of having a family, or like, agents in my ear, like, do you want to do this and this, or like maybe you should just try this thing, or maybe you should just take this role just for the money. And it's like, those things spiritually starve you. And that's one thing that he mentioned too, is like, he talked about theater. And this was very interesting. The theater was similar to the monologues, where like you were actually just like doing the thing, even if it's unpaid, even if it's just community theater. Like you're just there with a bunch of other people who are fired up to just do the thing. And I've never really been into plays, never really watched too many of them, but I think it'd be exciting to engage with those things. And he said, theater will feed you, because as an actor, you just get to act. And it's not just this super hard, stand on this mark, do these 3 specific actions, do this, and this, and do not mess it up at all. Otherwise you get a black cross across your name and you're done. It's not that. Where it's more, each performance will be different, because you're playing off of different people's energies. Like obviously the lines, but each micro thing can be different, which can shape an entire performance. So it's interesting. So I think the whole conversation, what it then led to is like, I listened to a bunch of other Mark Duplass interviews following that. I want to create and I want to write, but I don't want to take away from time that I could be acting and could be getting better at acting. So unless it's like improvised, unless it's like micro short films, or unless I'm working with somebody else, which I will get to that, but unless I'm doing all those things, like it's probably better time spent to just act and just focus on that. Because if I'm just in a billion different directions, you go nowhere. So that was clear that, I wrote this week I wrote a couple short films, or just had some concept ideas that I fleshed out, but even still seeing if I actually want to make those, because it's like, man, my faith is important to me, and I want to be honoring in what I do. And I don't want to just be like making stuff and just like putting it out there and like it being something that I'm not truly like proud of, or, you know, not actually aligned with, which I think, again, it's hard to be choosy, it's hard to be picky and choosy, but then comes the part that was interesting in our conversation with the guy, as well as Mark Duplass also saying this, is friend groups, friend circles. The people who are in their club who just make movies together, they're all doing their own thing. They're already over there. You're never gonna get in there. But if you have a group here that you build from ground zero, who is talented, who has the same thought process of the world as you, who wants to make cool shit, and you guys just go and do that together, that's good. That's good. That can build up some momentum, where you're putting time into shorts. And then eventually a movie like Mark Duplass's Puffy Chair, which he spent $1,000 on. And you can just put something together. Or you do a pilot. And you're all invested into these projects that don't take that much money, but they take time, they take love, they take nurturing. And the frame that I'm trying to understand is like, I know how much people influence people. I don't want to make the choice, or I want to seek out a good friend group, either writer and director, producers, lighting, sound, people, or editors, other actors, and just have this little boat full of people that we can all just go to war together, because we all believe similar things and to have similar worldview, and we want to try and tell stories that are of a righteous nature. And that's something that's, I think, is going to be hard to find. But if I can find that, I think that might be the gateway to making really cool stuff. Because, you know, I see Backrooms. I see that. I watched half of the short films last night, like the little 2-minute ones that it's crazy that he built all those on, like, you know, the architecture software or whatever, and recorded them and just had some people helping. But fascinating how that can build heat, build momentum, and then out of smaller concepts you can build macro storylines. I think that's something special, is having a group of people who you can make short films with. And then once you have an idea that lands, make a feature and try and promo that everywhere you can. And kind of, the cavalry is not coming, meaning no one is going to hand you a ticket being like, hey, really like this potential you're showing, let's do something. Like, a big agency or a big studio is not going to throw money at people unless there's some kind of proof of concept. Proof of concept not even being like a little 2-minute movie, whatever. Everyone's got those. But proof, a feature, like several features, undeniable, or for me as an actor, undeniable demonstration of my ability. And for me to have that, I need the ability. So then for me, it's like, I need to spend more time on my skill set and building that. So then it came to the point where, like, obviously acting school would help build my skill set, but it's like, I didn't like university the first time around. And I went and visited the campus. I didn't see, this sounds judgmental, I didn't see too many people who I thought would be on a similar wavelength as me. I can put it that way. So then I wonder if I just did theater, if I just went to acting classes and just focused on networking and building my skill set, would that not yield better results than spending 2 years in a structure that might not even teach you actually in the modern day how to execute projects, how to just do shit? Like, I got this first role in that short film Proof of Concept on my own, like not through school, not through any formal training, not through anything, and like got the thing, got the part. And I think we're gonna do the rest of it at the end of the summer. And I got a different part it's gonna shoot at the end of the year. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. Where I don't know what the best course of action is. It's like tuition's not that much, which is part of the reason I chose this school. Cause like, you know, there's some, I won't be naming names, but there's some really big schools that run it essentially. Bro, I was in the digital marketing space. They run it like they're trying to sell a course. And when we're playing around with $80,000 tuition over 2 years, it's like, you can't pull a fast one on me. Like, if you're pumping out that many grads, part of me just wonders if it's actually worth it, and if it's going to benefit and nurture the type of career that I actually want to build. Which I think the people that I meet are going to be far more important to nurturing that actual type of career. And I don't know if I'm going to meet those people at the school that I'm going to, or in any school for that matter, because of the nature of how it's structured. Where it's like, let's just get people in, you know, let's just try and make as much money as possible. Let's just, you know, I just really want to make it, bro, like kind of thing. It's like, what about the art? What about certain limitations that we have on specific things? The dream. The dream. If I could meet a group of people, 3 or 4 other people, who want to write, create, direct, narrative, short and feature films with me, that we could build enough heat, either with social media, with, I think, me documenting has been part of my process, and you know, just putting my face in front of people. It's like, or if we're just making stuff, you know, I haven't watched it yet, but the Martin Short, Eugene Levy, Catherine O'Hara group with like Second City, SNL, that's a friend group. Built that. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, friend group, right? Like just people who get along, who are on the same wavelength, who just vibe, that want to make stuff. That's it. And I just don't know how many people are like, especially from a faith, or at least like respecting the faith standpoint, I don't know how many people are going to be in that. But if I can find those people, that'll be a synchronicity that you just can't replicate with any kind of training or any kind of class or anything. And like, I don't give a shit about having a diploma or a degree. It doesn't bug me. But I do care about making good art that is not going to embarrass and detract from my family later down the line. Like, even I made a little skit with my buddy and just threw it up on YouTube. I thought it was funny, and it was like, I thought it was good, and I'm like happy with how it turned out, because I feel like it spoke some truth. and I'd be proud of that. But if it was like a bunch of other things that like I'm not proud of, question is like, would you be proud to show your kids this? It's not a bunch of hot steaming garbage. And I look at, I even look at like Facebook and a few casting websites. It's like, this stuff, what is happening? And I'll probably have to go through a bunch of characters that don't make sense, that aren't very well written, just to get experience. But I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think that I'm just gonna go to Toronto and try a semester just to see how it is. If it's not good, I will drop out. If it's not in line with what I feel in my heart is true and right, I will leave. And that'll be fine, because I'll just get a different job, keep on doing what I'm doing, just go to classes, get in the theater, get better at acting, meet people. Because that's just what I need to be doing anyway. Become a better actor, meet the right people. That should be it. Maybe I shouldn't go. I need to move to Toronto regardless. But it's not that much. Like, it's like $3,000 for the first semester, which like I've spent 10 grand on courses. So it's like, and look, I'm no bajillionaire, not by any stretch of the imagination. I currently work like a minimum wage job, so it's like it's some of my funds to put towards that, and I'm gonna be doing like government grants and like asking my parents for some money, which I'm very blessed to have those things. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't serve the greater vision, what's the point? Wouldn't that just be better to be like, let's make 500, like take that 5 or 10 grand and just like go make a movie? Once I meet the right person, once I meet somebody who actually like wants to do some shit. I don't know. So these are the things that are weighing on my mind this week. I think I'm also tired. I've just started getting back into hard lifting, and I've cut my calories this week because I had a big weekend of being a donkey, drinking too many beers, and now I need to have a period of less beers, maybe even none, and just come back down, because it's been a busy few months since I started this other job, and it's just kind of been thing after thing after thing, and lots of weekend trips and stuff like that. So today, recovering my mind, because I got a wedding this weekend. My buddy's getting married, so I gotta go up for that, and I gotta work tomorrow. But God is good. God is good. His timing is perfect. Guys, this is week 23. Appreciate you watching. All right, take it easy.